Well, we are finally here. We have arrived. This is the AFC Divisional Round Game Day. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs preview and prediction show. I'm on here. My internet has been fantastic. I hopefully didn't just jinx that. Hopefully, I didn't jinx the fact that my internet has been awesome over the course of this show. But the last show that I was on the 24/7 Buff Fanimonium show with Scott and Swank on another Sunday Sessions, and I told the viewers and the listeners that I'd be hopping on right here on the Thomas Take Sports Podcast stream, so I could interact with you guys. Please fire away some comments. I want some social interaction with the Buffalo Bills fans as well. I'll go on my tangent of my rant within this game. I had Justice General of the Built in Buffalo Network on the show Wednesday. You guys can check that out. We talked about a lot of different topics. I also did some Buffalo Bills trivia, which I will do once again on the show. So stay tuned for that and much, much more throughout the rest of this show. I'll be previewing this game, setting the expectation here, previewing this game. How do I think it's going to go down and why? This weekend was insane so far as the NFL playoffs. I want to mention, the NFC divisional round matchup as well as the AFC divisional round matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the Cincinnati Bengals. Since they're getting it done, so if Buffalo does win today against the Kansas City Chiefs, we would play host to the Cincinnati Bengals next week in the AFC title game for the first time since 1992, January of 1992. And to put it in perspective, I was just simply a bun in the oven at that point. I was born in April of 1992, so I wasn't even around for that. I know the game. It was a 10-7 victory against the Denver Broncos. Carlton Bailey with a pick six in that game to kind of cinch it for Buffalo, sending Rich Stadium at the time just over the moon, and pumping up the volume, I guess you could say, in that one. And that's what's at stake here history-wise. That's the precipice of history that Buffalo is on during this run, and it's a second run, you could say, going to last year, moving on from last year to this year. 2 straight years, 2 seasons of contention within the AFC playoff. Hopefully we can get right back to where we were with the Bills in the AFC title game for the second year in a row with a victory today. Keys to victory will be stated in this show, and the first question that I want to ask the viewers and listeners, and I think they'd all agree with me on this one, is that this Bills and Chiefs game, is this the AFC Super Bowl? I think it is. I think that was proven yesterday with the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Tennessee Titans, who, Tennessee going into this playoff with a 1 seed, Cincinnati the 4 seed, Kansas City the 2 seed, Buffalo the 3 seed. Yeah, seeding wise, regular season, Tennessee had the best regular season record. But Buffalo and KC, in my humble opinion, going into this season and, recapping the season as we see it now, the one thing that has remained a constant for me is that KC and Buffalo are the 2 best teams in the AFC. I think they're the most dangerous teams within the AFC. Their offenses are potent. Mahomes, Allen, you could mention a litany of guys on both offenses that are arguably the best at their position, namely Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. Wide receiver-wise, those are 2 guys that make up my top 5 at the position every single year, these last few years especially. Travis Kelce, best tight end in football. You can rank him 1, 2, or 3. Take your pick. It's all a matter of opinion, but I would say that Travis Kelce is the best tight end in football. But Josh Allen has risen to becoming one of the best quarterbacks in this league, along with Pat Mahomes. And you have emerging, I should say, second-year pros like Gabe Davis on this offense in Buffalo, and you have Dawson Knox, who has had a banner year in his own right as a tight end. So both of these teams have a lot of firepower, but I think where the matchup lies is the Buffalo Bills defense versus the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Not necessarily Kansas City's defense against Buffalo's offense, because I think Buffalo is actually more favored in that matchup, just both sides of on sides of the ball, analyzing both sides of the ball. I'd say that. Um, Buffalo's defense has been one of the best defenses all season long. They have 0 Pro Bowlers to show for it, and I think that has lit a fire under the asses of the entire defense. Uh, Jordan Poyer put out, Jordan Poyer didn't put out the video, but Jordan Poyer was mainly the captain of that video. And you guys know the video I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen it, you go to the Buffalo Bills social media, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter, and you would see Jordan Poyer just rallying the troops, getting everybody hyped, getting everybody revved and ready to go for this epic AFC wildcard game that the Bills blew out the Patriots in. And to recap that, everything went right. Everything went our way. I feel like it's somewhat yesterday's news, though. I want to focus on this game, but it was a beautiful sight to see. And I think that signaled this year and beyond that the AFC East is ours. The Patriots are in a state of a transition. The Dolphins willingly are in a state of transition with Brian Flores being fired. You know that things are going to drastically change within that organization. And you have the New York Jets, who I really like Robert Saleh as a head coach. If the Jets give this guy 5 years to just lay the groundwork, I think the Jets could be good in the distant future. 5 years and beyond from now. But will the Jets be patient enough to give Robert Saleh the chance? Basically, what I'm saying here is, in short, the recap of the epic blowout of the New England Patriots is the simple fact that I think that this AFC East division is Buffalo's for many, many years to come. Judging that 47-17 victory. But I think this game has keys to victory that can provide the Bills a pathway to victory. And that key to victory is honestly pressuring Pat Mahomes. And it's an easy key to victory to state, but there's a lot of dynamics within that. I think Pat Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in the league outside of Josh Allen in terms of his improvisational skill when a play breaks down. When a play breaks down, that's actually when Pat Mahomes is at his most successful skill set, within his most successful skill set, I should say. That is his most successful acumen, I think, as a quarterback, is that when a play breaks down, when a play forces him to roll outside the pocket, when a play forces him to elongate his wide receivers' routes, they're able to do that, and he is able to deliver the football. And that's something that not many quarterbacks can do on a down-by-down basis. It's something that quarterbacks can do, of course, throughout the league, but not every single down. Pat Mahomes is one of those guys that can do that. So my first key to victory is not necessarily just pressuring Pat Mahomes, because every team tries to do that. But I think it would be pressure Pat Mahomes to stay within the pocket. Because if you pressure Mahomes and force him out of the pocket, I think that is almost counterproductive with how good Mahomes is as far as throwing the football outside the pocket. But if you pressure Pat Mahomes, crowd the pocket, force him to stand inside the pocket and make a decision, that's where things can get a little bit dicey for him. And I think that is something that I hope to see tonight, I should say, as the game is at 6:30 between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. My next key to victory for the game would honestly be for Buffalo to continue establishing this run game. Devin Singletary has been a revelation as a running back on this team these last 5-6 weeks, multiple weeks with multiple touchdowns, and somebody that I've always given respect to and props to within the skill set that he has, because he does have a skill set. A lot of Bills Mafia, rightfully so, I'm not saying they were wrong for it, they questioned Devin Singletary because last year Buffalo's run game was virtually non-existent, and it was non-existent largely throughout the majority of this season. So, getting that back in the swing of things and having multiple dimensions to this offense has provided Buffalo with just an open opportunity to really do whatever they want. And we saw that last week against the Patriots. The Patriots didn't know what was coming, whether it was the run game or the passing game, and both were as versatile and as dangerous as one another. And I think that is something that Buffalo has to continue to implement, that balanced offense. I've talked about it every week. I sound like a broken record talking about a balanced offense, a pass game and a run game that Buffalo can rely on and enjoy I know their fans enjoy it. That's for sure, myself included. But my last key to victory for this one would honestly be to limit your own turnovers. I think if Buffalo has any turnovers in this game, if you give this Kansas City Chiefs offense any more opportunity than what they already have at their within their skill set, within their disposal, giving the ball back to Pat Mahomes, giving the ball back to Tyreek Hill, giving the ball back to the healthy Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I do feel will be somebody to game plan for in this matchup. Um, both teams should try to implement a run game to keep the opposing offense off the field. But I think Buffalo in this one, to my point, if they turn the ball over at all, I think that'll be very bad for this game because KC is the team that you don't want to turn the ball over against. So let's get to the comments here. Let's see who we have on the show this morning. So that damn Bills guy says Burrow is not mobile at all. LOL, 9 sacks. Wow. Yeah, I agree with you on that. To touch back on Tennessee and Cincinnati. Why did Tennessee lose that game? How did Tennessee lose that game? 2 words, not words. It's a name, a first and a last name, and it's Ryan Tannehill, a fellow RT. My name is Ryan Thomas. This is Ryan Tannehill, fellow RT. He had 3 interceptions in that game, and those 3 interceptions were crucial to the chances of Tennessee winning that game. And I think that it's frustrating for Tennessee fans, obviously, to wake up this morning and know that. But hey, I've known that Ryan Tannehill is at best average. I've known that Ryan Tannehill at worst is fair. He's fair. He's not bad, but he's not good. He's average or fair. There's not much within that average fair skill comparison to make me believe that he can get it done in a big game. And that's why I picked Cincinnati in my pick 'em. And that's why I was thrilled to see Cincinnati win outside of the rooting interest of Cincinnati winning that game and hoping that Buffalo would obviously play host to them with a win tonight in the AFC title game. And this is my Aunt Robin. We got this. Let's go Buffalo. Hello, Aunt Robin. One of the biggest Bills fans that I know. She is going to be cheering on the Bills, yelling at the TV, pumping up the fam down in Florida and Lehigh Acres, Florida. Shout out to Lehigh Acres. I'm excited for this one, Robin. I think this is going to be a really good game. I'll get to the score prediction at the bottom of the show, of course, but I think this is going to be a really good one. So that damn Bills guy also says you need a star quarterback. A next level running back isn't winning you a Super Bowl. That's an interesting take. I can't say I agree with it or disagree with it because when you look at the state of the league, all the teams that are left outside of San Fran, and I'm going to talk about San Fran momentarily as well as Aaron Rodgers, but I think with San Fran, with Buffalo, you do have Allen who has grown leaps and bounds year by year by year. You see a steady, consistent progression. Obviously, year 2 to year 3 was a massive jump. I don't think anybody's taken the jump from year 2 to year 3 that Allen has, let alone year 3 to year 4. I think he's even better this year than he was last year. I think a lot of us would agree with that. But I've asked this to a few people that are much, I won't say much older than me. We'll just say older than me for the sake of it. not offending anyone. But people older than me, I've asked them, what do you see when you see Josh Allen? Who is a legend that you could compare him to? I asked you guys that in previous generations that you were, possibly around in. Who is a guy that you see Josh Allen resembling? I've met football history, nut, you could say. And I can't think of a guy in my mind that has a similar skill set to Josh Allen. There's nobody like him. 6'5", 245, running over, linebackers, running over defensive linemen, juking defensive linemen. I've never seen anybody like him. And I think that That was something I saw when I watched his tape at Wyoming in 2018. What type of player is this guy? I don't even know what to expect from this guy. He could be really, really, really good, or it could take him a little bit and he'll be good. But he's been really, really, really good. So I was right on the first one. I knew it was one or the other. I always believed that Allen could be an NFL quarterback. It was just a matter of situational stuff, and he fell into the perfect situation here. Eric Williamson says, how does Buffalo approach Matt Hack and his inconsistencies as of late? How much does it affect their decision making? I think, Eric, when you have an offense as good as Buffalo's and you're in what's called plus territory, where you're at the right side of the 40, not the wrong side of the 40, you got to go for it if it's less than 4th and 5. Always, in my opinion, with this offense, with who they have, you mean to tell me less than 4th and 5, Josh Allen can't get 5 yards? You mean to tell me that Stephon Diggs can't get five yards? If I said 500, I meant 5. This offense can get it done. This offense can convert 4th downs. And I think if it's anything higher than that, where it's 4th and 8, 4th and 10, 4th and 12, or even worse, God forbid, you got to punt. And they paid Matt Hack a 3-year contract. And I noticed, even dating back to training camp, his approach to the football on punts is very different. I won't say it's bad. I certainly won't say it's good, but it's very different. And it's unlike anything that I've seen, where he almost approaches it like a rugby play, where he circles the ball rather than just walking straight through the ball and punting it. I'm not a punting expert. That's probably be the worst factor of my football game, even dating back to when I was playing. But I do know in punt, pass, and kick contests, we just walk straight through the football. We wouldn't try to circle it and direct it, And in the NFL, they do have to direct it. I'm not saying that he shouldn't direct it, but every single punt is approached that way. And I think that's why we saw the struggles from him in that game in Buffalo against the Jets. I think that's the one that you're referring to. That's where he was very, very bad and had a horrible day at the office that day. But we'll see. Kevin Johnston says, what do you think of what the Bills need to do to slow down Mahomes? Kevin, if you weren't tuning into the show, Ryan Thomas here, Thomas Take Sports Podcast. What do I think they need to do to slow down Mahomes? It's not pressure Mahomes, because just pressuring Mahomes is too basic for a player of his caliber, because he is a pretty damn good player. I'll throw him the respect he deserves, right? You have to. But what you have to do, I think, with Mahomes is pressure him to stay in the pocket, close the pocket, surround him. If you close the pocket, you will have success, because I think Mahomes gets a little frustrated when he is forced to just make that read within the pocket pressured. Mahomes loves to extend a play outside the pocket, throw on the run towards the right sideline or the left sideline, just like Allen does. And I think that that's a factor within this game that is key to victory. If they can force him to stay in the pocket, actually pressure him within the pocket, not pressuring him to allow him to run outside the pocket, that's the key. It's a huge key, Kevin. So appreciate the question. Coach McDermott has to be aggressive from this game forward, period. And I think he will be in those short 4th down, down and distance. You do have a really great kicker on this team in Tyler Bass as well. And I am of the opinion that when you have the opportunity to get points against Kansas City, you take it. So aggressive is also kicking field goals, getting as many points as you can in certain situations. If it comes down to 4th and 5 and there's 10 seconds left in the first half and we're on our own 30, and we have one timeout or no timeouts, I don't want them to try to get a first down. I want them to just kick the ball. There is a sense of simplifying the aggressiveness that we want. And I think in certain situations, you do have to keep it simple. In these games, you got to take the points, depending on the amount of timeouts you have and time on the clock and things like that. So I will kind of throw that back to you just to play devil's advocate. Aaron Rodgers looked awful last night. I was shocked. He only passed to Adams, Devontae Adams. I believe he's finished. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is done, and I want to shift gears here to what we saw last night. I think Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay, but I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is done. I think Aaron Rodgers has a lot left in the tank, and you might not think that based on the body language that he had, but the body language is after a loss that really was not his fault. I think the game was not his best game, but let's be real here. It was 13-10. San Fran didn't score an offensive touchdown. They blocked a kick. They blocked a punt for a touchdown and won the game, and off of a game-winning field goal by Robbie Gould, who has kicked plenty of field goals as a member of the Chicago Bears for a long time as their kicker at Lambeau Field. So, I think Aaron Rodgers has to leave Green Bay. I think the best thing for Rodgers is to leave Green Bay because they're in a state of transition. They have salary cap problems. They have re-signing player problems, Rodgers included, Devontae Adams included. And I think you got to leave if you're Rodgers. You got to have your Tom Brady Tampa Bay moment, hop off while you can, get out while you can, and kind of build your own opportunity, whether it's in Indy or Denver, or maybe he stays in the NFC. That's a huge storyline this offseason that I will follow with great interest on the show. So, score prediction. I want your score predictions. You guys can fire them away in the comment section below as I give you guys my score prediction. I do have the Bills winning this game, as I usually do. I don't think I've ever predicted the Bills' loss on this show, just out of fandom and bias. But the score prediction for this one for me is the Bills win 37-31, and I'll tell you why. I think this is going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a classic game, both teams going back and forth. But I do think Buffalo will pull away, and just as Buffalo pulls away, I could see Kansas City going on a little bit of a, to use a basketball term, going on a little bit of a scoring run where they make it close, but Buffalo holds on and gets the victory to host an AFC title game next week. I am very pumped up for this one. I was very excited to hop on the show this morning and give you guys my take on all things AFC Divisional round with the Bills and the Chiefs. This is the matchup that I feared that would come in the divisional round. It's unfortunate to me that this matchup is coming in the divisional round because I truly feel that both of these teams are better than that to play each other in the AFC Championship. That's how it should have went down. Buffalo would have beat Tennessee. Buffalo would have beat Jacksonville. We would have been the 1 seed, and we would have played Cincinnati or Tennessee hosting him. And we would have seen what would have transpired there, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. Robin Bentley says 33-31. She's got it really close. That is Aunt Robin's score prediction on the show. We got Kevin Johnston going 33-24. Bills win. Most Bills fans have the Bills in the 30s, and I think that's fair. Eric Leno Jr. has the Bills winning 30-24, and I think that it is a worthy thought to have this one as a close game. You do have to, pay respect to the opponent. You do have to do that, and I think it's important to do that. Adam Huxell says, Bills by 1 million. How about a surprise Bills gash KC defense in the run game? That is interesting. That would be interesting. Charles Escuquo says 31-27 win for the Bills. And you want to talk about a guy that looked awful last night. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers. I think Jimmy Garoppolo had one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a quarterback that won a playoff game. And even worse than that, Jimmy Garoppolo acted as if he was Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning after the game, pumping his fist and grinning ear to ear. And I won't lie to you, it kind of made me sick. It made me sick for the fact that he's not that good. They thought he was much better than he was in New England. Turned out San Francisco thought he was better than even New England did. That's why they traded for him. And he's not that good. I'm not impressed by Jimmy Garoppolo in any way, shape, or form coming off of that game. George Kittle had to catch the ball practically an inch off the ground multiple times. Deebo Samuel is hobbling on one foot. His knee or his foot were all messed up. And they had to rely on him. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo has ever won a big game single-handedly or as much as he did last night for the 49ers. I just don't see it. And I think whoever wins between the Bucs and Rams today is going to be in the NFC as the Super Bowl, NFC champ. I should say, representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, whether it's Tampa Bay or the Rams. I don't give San Fran a chance at going tit for tat with either one of those offenses. Can Jimmy Garoppolo go drive for drive with Tom Brady? Can Jimmy Garoppolo go drive for drive with Matt Stafford? Just asking that question. I say no. If he proves me wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I was wrong, and that's that. But I just don't see it. And I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo even went drive for drive with Aaron Rodgers last night. My case in point is that he didn't. 13-10, blocked field goal. Green Bay should have had 13 points. Blocked punt for a touchdown. San Francisco should have had 6 points, I believe. It was 13-10. So it is what it is. I was shocked by that. I posted the video of Jimmy Garoppolo fist pumping and going into the stands of Lambeau, and not the stands, but around the perimeter of Lambeau. Give me a break. What a joke. I honestly, he did absolutely nothing. I'll actually show it for you. Why not? I mean, look at this. Look at this. This dude's acting like he did it all on his own, and he's coming to not just take part, but take over. No. Did absolutely nothing and acted like he was Tom Brady. It honestly made me sick. It was pathetic. So, that being said, I am wrapping up the show. This is the end of the AFC Divisional Round preview show. Bills, Chiefs. I got the Bills winning 37-31. I sincerely hope that I am right back here next week previewing the AFC title game between the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals. That's the AFC Championship game last year. I want the Bills and Bengals in Orchard Park, New York at New Era Field. That being said, I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Go Bills. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for the comments. Much appreciated. Enjoy.